Good evening and good Friday, and welcome everyone to Prime News. I'm Jen Pellegrino.
And I'm Erin Elmore.
In tonight's Prime News, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki made it clear that President Biden will not be going to Ukraine. Now, what has people alarmed is the way she chose to say it.
Is sending the president to Ukraine something that you guys have talked about? I know there's no plan. Is it something that you guys are discussing?
No.
Okay.
Wow. What a world we're living in, Jen. Well, the present might seem bleak, but the future sure is looking bright for the GOP. As President Biden's weak leadership becomes more and more clear to voters, America isn't subscribing to the progressive ideology or radical left-leaning policies. And while it might be hard to realize in the moment, there is some hope to hold on to. We're all hoping for a red wave in November's midterm elections, which could put conservatives in a position to take back the House, the Senate, and even the White House.
That's right, Erin. I think it's going to be a red tsunami, in fact. And while conservatives are setting their sights on replacing disastrous policies put in place by the left, a new move has the GOP prepared to totally reshape the future of politics. As we all know, debates have been a driving force for helping American voters choose their commander-in-chief since the first televised debate way back in 1960, where a sweaty performance is believed to have cost Nixon an earlier shot at the White House, cementing expectations for a president to...
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton...
Hey, folks, it's never too late, and I got to say that clip never gets old. Well, here
Never.
now to discuss what pulling out of debates could mean for the future of elections and politics altogether is RNC national spokesperson Paris Denard. Hey, Paris, glad to have you with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So let me ask you, debates are obviously a very important part of the democratic process, as we outlined. Tell us what the RNC is doing to ensure that Republican nominees still have opportunities.
Yeah, it's really important that your viewers know that the RNC, under the leadership of Ronna McDaniel, has every intention to host and put on these debates. Going back and forth, letter after letter, meeting after meeting, the Commission on Presidential Debates said, no, thank you. We're not changing. And so our membership at the RNC said, no more. We're going to do this not only for the Republican Party and our future nominee, whoever he or she might be, but for the American people.
Smart, Paris. And, we're living in such polarizing times with fewer and fewer undecided voters. Are debates still relevant? Are they really a significant way to sway the electorate in these modern days?
It's interesting because we think people who live in the Beltway and are just consumed by politics, that the rest of the world does the same thing, that they're watching Newsmax all day, they're reading the newspapers and just doing all things in politics all day long. But they're not. Middle America, they're working. They're taking their children to soccer practice, and they're going to swim meets, and they're doing things to keep food on the table.
Well, Paris, we know that the legacy media loves to give a lot of time, a lot of attention to the Democratic candidates. They practically fawn over them.
Paris, you spoke about the American people who are busy working and dealing with children. I can certainly sympathize with that. But you are an insider in the political process. So explain to everyone at home what goes on behind the scenes when campaigns are preparing to participate in these debates. The average person doesn't really know or understand. How could this lead to your bold call to pull out the debates? Because you know what's really going on, and you could see behind the scenes the problems. So explain to everyone exactly what you were seeing and why you had to make this big, bold decision.
Yeah, our RNC membership, it's 168 members, state chairmen and national committeemen and national committeewomen. They saw what happened. And it's not just the fact that they hosted debates after 26 states already started voting, but they made sudden changes to the rules and to the format without even notifying President Trump. But presidential debates showed that they were incapable of actually doing it in a fair and balanced way. The RNC's leadership, directed by Chairwoman McDaniel, said, we've got to take these steps right now to make it fair for the American people. And they were
going to be not only a red wave, but a red tsunami, the way the Democrats are running things right now. What's your perspective? What's the RNC's perspective as we see the man who's potentially going to be, I think, according to what a lot of people feel, is potentially the nominee in 2024?
Well, the RNC takes the position of neutrality. We don't get involved in primaries at the presidential level or at the Senate level or congressional level.
Yes, America's ready. Paris Denard, it's always good to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you both.
Sure seems that the Biden administration took him literally instead of releasing a plan for the influx. Biden's DHS released a totally different type of plan instead. We'll explain next on Prime News.
Border policies are getting more and more twisted by the day. The White House is now being accused of planning to take doctors from veterans hospitals and sending them to the border to help with the expected migrant surge after Biden ends Title 42.
Unbelievable. But more than 50 Republican lawmakers signed off on a letter sent to DH Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas calling the alleged proposal deeply troubling. They also pointed out that wait times for a veteran to see a doctor is a very long 22 days.
Awful. And if that doesn't tell you enough about this administration's priorities, Biden's decision to end Title 42, it could bring up to 30,000 illegals into the United States every single day.
Mixed up indeed. Now, Steve, what is your reaction to the fact that they are focusing on equity? Well, human traffickers are smuggling women, young children, and unvetted people are coming into this country, not to mention the record amounts of fentanyl coming across our border. And now these are at alarming rates and impacting every single American.
Yes, and we're seeing this in Arizona. The price of fentanyl pills in Arizona now ranges from $1 to $2 a pill.
Absolutely. Now, Steve, we hear a lot about Texas, rightfully so. They've been in the media sending those migrants to D.C. But your state of Arizona, what more should Doug Ducey be doing to stop this problem?
I think Governor Abbott has the right idea. If Biden wants to have these people come across the border, why don't we ship them not only to Washington, D.C., but his home state of Delaware? They need to pay the price.
Mike, I don't know that this administration, as you mentioned, has any interest in making any commitments to, fixing this problem. But what does need to be done? What could be done that could turn this around and at least slow down this flow that we're seeing coming through our border?
Right. That is a very easy question. It is put back the policies that were in place at the end of the Trump administration. That includes building the border wall.
But Mike, what about the root causes?
Country in the world, people are going to want to come here. But you know what? We have a say in who gets to come here. It's called the legal immigration system. The ideal we should be striving for is zero illegal immigration. Instead, we are at the highest levels imaginable, and it's going to get absolutely worse. Like Senator Kennedy said, it is like the Hindenburg, colliding with the Titanic. What's about to happen when Title 42 goes away?
And Steve, we know that this isn't just a border problem anymore as these people come into our towns and communities. And we see that the polling numbers on illegal immigration are absolutely terrible for the Biden administration. As you go out on the campaign trail and talk to people in your state, what are you hearing from the people that fight our wars and pay our taxes?
The people here are outraged.
Being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, a new investigation reveals the Biden administration, they can't be transparent about anything.
Nope. And Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton is here to bring.
Ronald Kessler observed.
Was surprised by an unfamiliar person and reacted in a way that resulted in a minor injury to the individual.
Yeah, and records released in response to a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit show that attacks occurred both earlier and later than previously known. Psaki acknowledged just one biting incident, but the bite she told the American people about was actually the final attack in an 8-day streak.
Ouch. Well, the White House's handling of this situation had one agent so upset they reportedly tried to get Biden to personally pay for his damaged coat, which was valued around $500.
Joining us now is the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. Tom, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So if the Biden administration will cover up the story about the dog, why should we believe this White House will be transparent about bigger issues like COVID-19, the border, or anything else Biden is allowed to be in charge of? Why was this report significant enough for you to investigate over 400 pages of documents?
Well, our experience is when there's a little bit of a story there's usually a lot more of a story to be found. And we saw this dog bite incident, and we've had a lot of experience that the Secret Service tracks and has information about these types of incidents. So we asked. Really put in awful situations. This wasn't an instance of someone walking around the corner and the dog being startled and biting. These were Secret Service agents going about their regular duties, protecting the President of the United States and his wife, Jill Biden, the First Lady, and getting attacked by the dog.
Tom, and we have 30 seconds left. Sorry about that. We have 30 seconds left, but your reporting is exactly why we need free speech on the internet. You were suspended by Twitter. Now, what do you make of Elon Musk's efforts? Should we just focus on joining a different outlet like Trump's Truth Social, which Newsmax has a verified account on, by the way? But what do you think? And Fox doesn't, but I will say Newsmax does. So what do you think we do here? Where are we going to get the truth, and how are we going to keep everyone just free speech available to all?
Well, we need to be everywhere, and we need to recognize that Twitter and Facebook and Google and such have been engaged, in my view, in fraud, in lying about what they've been censoring and why they've been censoring it. They haven't been censoring it based on any principles. It's based on politics, and they're making it up as they go along.
Well, Tom Finn of Judicial Watch, we are grateful for the work that you do. Have a great Easter weekend, and thank you so much for being here with us. Away from renewed Russian offense in eastern Ukraine, and there are reports that Russia is working to isolate the region.
That's right. Newsmax is on the ground in Mykolaiv, a city that's been under constant Russian fire and without a water supply for days. We will take you there next. A refugee from war-torn Mariupol, he scored the game-winning goal in Shakhtar Donetsk's charity match against Poland. He spent the day with one of Ukraine's most popular football clubs as a temporary escape from the grim horrors going on in his hometown.
Cities across Ukraine are preparing for another offensive from Russian troops. Newsmax correspondent Chuck Holton reports from the ground in Mykolaiv. Chuck?
Good evening, ladies. I'm on the southern coast of Ukraine tonight in a town called Mykolaiv. This city has about 500,000 people in it. And one of the biggest problems that we see here in Mykolaiv is that for the last 4 days or so, the people have been without water back. They want to go take the fight to the Russians, and that's exactly what we're seeing in this area now. So far from being under threat from being taken over by the Russians, the Ukrainians in this region are fighting back and winning. Back to you. Good
Chuck
evening,
Holton in southern Ukraine. Thank you.
Joining General Tata, those are really incredible numbers, but we know that when Russia first invaded Ukraine, Putin simply called it a special military operation. This news seems to be breaking here minute by minute. Has Russia officially declared war at this point? What's the latest and what are you seeing?
Yeah, so what we're hearing, Erin, is that potentially Russia is going to officially declare war on Ukraine. As you said, he called it a special operation at the very beginning of the invasion. And now he's discussing internally, there are reports that they're officially going to declare war.
General, the Washington Post is reporting that Ukraine's President Zelensky is asking Biden to designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. This is obviously a very powerful sanction, one of the most powerful that the U.S. could use. Well, Brigadier General Anthony Tata, we always appreciate your insight. Thanks for taking time to be with us on this Friday night.
Yeah, thank you.
Tomorrow is Passover and Sunday is Easter, two religious holidays that celebrate freedom and hope.
That's right. And this weekend serves as a good reminder to hold on to that hope, even in the challenging times that we're living in now. Earlier this week, 9-year-old Ava Cherniak was shot at a California mall while waiting for a photo with the Easter Bunny. She told local media that she will never forgive the accused shooter, a store owner who is reportedly firing at shoplifters.
Jen, as a mother myself, I can't even imagine the horror of something like this happen. That's my son. I take him to see the Easter Bunny. This just makes you feel so vulnerable, compromised, and honestly scared for your children.
Yeah, sadly, it's the America we seem to be living in now. Well, joining us now is the founder and lead pastor at the Global Vision Bible Church, Greg Locke. Pastor, thanks for joining us tonight. You know, we see awful situations like with this little girl. We see crime skyrocketing our country.
And the world is really in a diabolical tailspin. Jesus is still the hope of the world. And I'm praying that churches will understand that we have got to get back to the basics of the foundational truths of the Word of God. And if we learn to love God and love others the way the Bible tells us to, then I'm telling you, we will see hope rise in this nation like never before.
So, Pastor Locke, we need that hope, and we need to not be afraid to worship and visit the Easter Bunny and come to church and become one with the Lord. What do you tell people to help them realize that the good will overcome the evil?
Oh, absolutely. We know that the good's going to overcome the evil. We're not fighting for victory. We're fighting from victory. And the devil's mad because he knows that he has a small space of time to deceive as many people as he possibly can. But look, I tell people, I've read the back of the book, and it does not end with, oh, me. It ends with the word amen, because Jesus is alive.
Amen. Well, Pastor Greg Locke, thank you. Happy Easter,
Thank you.
and we'll be praying with you on Sunday.
God bless you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Folks, as we head into Easter weekend, a little bit of Easter trivia for you. So the Easter egg roll at the White House, it's finally back after dealing with COVID for a couple of years. So things are finally starting to get back to normal as far as this administration is concerned. And also, there is a certain Newsmax talent that was once the Easter Bunny at the White House. Rumor has it he was off today because he's preparing for his next round at the White House. That is not a confirmed rumor, but look at Sean Spicer. What a great Easter Bunny. Sean, listen, you got a second opportunity there if you need a side gig. Looks like it really worked out well for you.
What a good bunny.
Erin, your plans for the weekend?
Well, I won't be at this roll, but I will tell you, I was at the Easter egg roll under better circumstances with my son, and I bet so many people would like to see us back there under President Trump again.
Well, that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys on Monday. Rob Schmidt starts.